key on. Two pitch. Fernando Valenzuela, who threw 149 pitches tonight. That wasn't one for the Art Museum, but it was efficient, and he got the job done. And the Dodgers now trail 2-1, winning 5-4. Leading by 13 at the break. In there, strike 3.
But you don't take extra bases. These guys can throw, they can get to the ball, and hit with power.
And he has struck out the side. Fernando sets him down at the end of 3.5. Still 2-0 America.
Fernando ready, and the strike 2 pitch is hit back to the box, dribbling to second. Samuel on the bag, throws to first, double play. Fernando Valenzuela has pitched a no-hitter at 10:17 in the evening of June the 29th, 1990. If you have a sombrero, throw it to the sky.
If we only had sombreros to toss to the sky. Ladies and gentlemen, Fernando Valenzuela.
Great pleasure for me to be over here, to be part of the Dyers. Really, I want to thank everyone. I want to thank the Dyers for the retired death number, and all the fans follow the Dyers year after year. Thank you very much. Gracias.
Somebody big just died. Legendary Dodgers pitcher Fernando Valenzuela is dead at 63 years old. And here to help eulogize him is the one and only Mike North. Mike, how are you, my friend?
I'm feeling good, Joe. It's great to see you this morning. A very sad day here in the Cumberland Chapel's funeral home visualization, a eulogy of Fernando Valenzuela. And what does every person that passes away need? They need a chapel. And what's the best one in Chicago, in the Chicagoland area? It's Cumberland Chapel's funeral home, ladies and gentlemen. 8300 West Lawrence Avenue, Anthony Lupo Sr., Jr., Peter M. Martino, Louis Martino, Jr. They've been taking care of people in this area for years and years. They treat you with dignity. They treat you with respect. They try to make it as affordable as they can. They give you different prices, different situations. Anything that you need, they're there for you. I've dealt with them personally. They're wonderful people. Continue to deal with them, and they're great sponsors. Go. And if you ever need, if you're ever in need and you have a tragedy in your family, which it always is with death, remember Cumberland Chapel. And also remember afterwards, if you'd like, you can have the dinner there, or you can have a rehearsal dinner for a wedding. You can have get-togethers. That's great for singles, doubles, couples, what have you. Pennyville Station at 112 Main Street, across from the railroad station. Outdoor dining. Of course, it's getting a little brisk now. Indoor dining. Tony Antonacci. Look at that food there. I've been there a couple times the last few weeks. Just love the place. Great menu. Great drinks, great atmosphere, just an outstanding addition to that what has now become like Restaurant and Bar Row in Park Ridge. There's Tony Antonacci, the owner, with Jesse Rogers and myself. I've been there with Carmen DeFalco. I've been there with John Suntress, with a lot of different people. Joe has been there. I've been there with Eldo Gandia, the Podfather, if you will. So just a great, great place. So make sure that you check it out. Tino Antonacci, the ambassador of restaurants, is there during the day, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to have 2 honorable mentions today, too.
Yeah.
Paul Lesh, who was the co-founder of the Grateful Dead. We'll talk about him afterwards. And, of course, this guy, and this is what this show's about. This is what I explained last week in what was one of our better shows. It was like what I like to call the generation gap show.
That's right.
of Mitzi Gaynor at 93 and Liam Payne at 31. This is the Mitzi Gaynor wing. Jack Jones, who people remember from the 60s, 70s, 80s, Grammy Award winner, great singer. He was in right before the British invasion. He had big hits in the 60s, 61, 62, 63. But his biggest hit was the singing, and he appeared on it periodically. His father was also a great singer of the song Love Boat. So we will feature them a little later on. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, one of the great pitchers in Dodger history, and just an entertaining pitcher, a Sai Young Award winner, the only guy to ever win, ladies and gentlemen, Rookie of the Year in Sai Young.
Yeah,
and I looked up in the same year. I looked up two guys that I thought had won it. But see, at that time, for the most part, there was only one award. The Cy Young Award didn't always go to the American League one and the National League the other. It used to be just one person won it. Okay. For instance, Vida Blue. Okay. He was great his rookie year. So I look it up. But he pitched in the 2 previous years periodically, which did not make him eligible. Okay. Then I said, but wait a minute. Joe will remember this guy, Dwight Gooden. What happened with Dwight Gooden? Dwight Gooden did not get it. Willie Hernandez got it. They only gave away one Cy Young at that time. And Willie Hernandez, who was a former Cub, pitched for the Tigers in 1984, was sparkling, but he was a relief pitcher. I shot pools with Willie. I shot pool with Willie Hernandez. Believe me when I tell you this. He was a drinking machine. Okay.
I believe it.
I shot pool with him one night at Wrigley Field, by Wrigley Field at a place called the Extra Innings. Just walked in. He was in there shooting pool. And the players used to hang out. And I knew because he had the afro. And we played, and then I left, and he was still there. I said, this day baseball is not good for him, just like it wasn't good for Dennis Eckersley and other people. And it wasn't. He ends up going to Detroit, bing, bang, boom, Cy Young Award winner, and that ended that. Fernando Valenzuela, character pitchers. Guys
Fernando Mania.
Yeah. And it's not Fernando Valenzuela, like the lady on my the iPad.
The SIRI.
Yeah, cut it out. Anyway, he was a guy along the lines of a Louis Tiant. Tiant would show his back to you. He'd look up at the sky, Fernando, before he threw the ball. Then you had guys like Bill Lee. You had characters back then. You had different pitching styles back then. Everybody seems to be almost like a cutout now. You had submariners back then. This guy broke on the scene, okay, in 1980, September 15th. All right. He was born November 1st, 1960 in Huaquila, Sonora, Mexico. Imagine writing that down when you're writing a letter. His last major league appearance, July 14th, 1997. His second to last start in his last season with the Dodgers, he threw a no-hitter. His win-loss record was 173 and 153. His ERA was a sparkling 3.54. What should have happened probably, he stuck around and he pitched for the California Angels in 91 after pitching 10 years for the Dodgers. Pitched for the Orioles in 93. Pitched for the Phillies in 94. Pitched for San Diego 95 to 97. St. Louis Cardinals in 97. Now, he was a 6-time All-Star from 81 to 86. World Series champion for 2 seasons, okay? Cy Young Award winner. Rookie of the Year. Won a Gold Glove 5 years later in 1986. Here's the cool part. He was a 2-time Silver Slugger Award winner.
Yeah, you could swing the bat.
He hit 10 home runs in his career. I read where one season he hit 304 for the Dodgers. So my point is, wasn't he before Ohtani? Wasn't he the guy that played, that batted and pitched? No, you could only play one position then. But here's the key. Tommy Lasorda used him to pinch hit sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
That's how good hitter he was. He met President Reagan when he was an ambassador for the Dodgers, and the Mexican president came to town. He was nicknamed El Toro,
the Bull,
and he was just he was the first. There were Latin players before Fernando Valenzuela, okay, Vic Davalillo, Minnie Minoso. I can name you Latin players, all night long if I want. But he was the first superstar. Hispanic player.
And big personality,
Big personality. Basically died. Usually you don't, like with Phil Lesh, we're going to talk about later. Naturally, they don't tell you what he died of, but he had bladder cancer back in the day, a couple of years back.
Sure.
Okay, but they say they don't listen. Fernando, liver cancer. If you notice the speech that he gave at the end with Sandy Koufax and everybody there, he lost considerable amount of weight. There he is. His eyesight got bad as he got older. Whose doesn't? He was their announcer. There he is with his wonderful family. Just a guy that everybody loved. I used to call him, he was as loved, and there he is. He had to be sick there. Okay.
Towards the end.
Towards the end. Signing autographs. It's got to be a hard thing to know because he had basically the same type of illness that Walter had. Walter Payton, liver cancer.
Yep.
And that's basically, all he wrote.
Get you quick, yeah.
I knew Walter. Walter knew. I mean, no matter what, once he got that news, and it's got to be a hard thing. His pitching was great. He came here. He had a screwball that nobody could hit. And the thing with the screwball is he was an average talent pitcher, I think, except for one thing. You get that one pitch. Like Hoyt Wilhelm had the knuckleball. Bill Negro had the knuckleball. You get Ted Abernathy, Kent Tekulve had the submarine.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
Bruce Sutter had the split finger. You get that one pitch. He had a screwball that he could throw at 4 different speeds. So you didn't know it was a screwball. You thought it was a fastball.
The first pitch here is a screwball. Watch this.
Right, and it looks like a fastball when it starts because he's got different speeds on it. Hello.
Did you see how it went from up to down? Yeah.
It went from up to down, but it didn't sink like the split finger. It sort of like took a slope.
Yeah, it's a strikeout pitch. You'll see it here a couple times in this.
Take a look, everybody, at how dominant this guy was with. See, now that looks like it's outside. It's fast. It looks like a fastball, and then boom. But he also had other pitches. That one's a fastball. That one just cut the inside. He was very accurate. He was so good his first 5-6 years, but then he had shoulder problems. So once that happened, that's all she wrote. Now, Valenzuela's, listen to this, his best year at the plate. I'm amazed by the plate thing because I keep hearing about Ohtani. First of all, thank God Ohtani's gonna get this. It looks like they might win a World Series. By the way, I had the total of 9 last night, ladies and gentlemen. So somebody big just died. Happened apparently last night at about 11:15.
Yeah,
Me.
Well, hey, could have been worse.
It could have been a loss.
Yeah.
Okay. Freddie Freeman with a bad leg relives Kirk Gibson and hits a home run, and the rest is history. But listen to this: 1990, his last year with the Dodgers, he had a .304 batting average.
Jeez. With
5 doubles, a homer, 11 RBIs in only 69 at bats. 11 RBIs in 69 at bats. Not bad for a pitcher. All right. He was ranked just above average among all National League hitters that year. So that's how good a hitter he was. But he batted .200 for his career, 187 hits and 936 at bats. But he was used as a pitch hitter. Listen to this. Tommy Lasorda used him 19 times as a pinch hitter.
Wow.
Okay. He hit .368, 7 for 19. You know how hard it is? There's guys that pinch hit their careers and don't hit .368 as a pinch hitter. He came off the bench cold.
Wow.
And he would hit. I think that's great. Now, he was released by the Dodgers in 1991. All right.
Yep.
He was pissed at him for about 10 years. Okay. He lived close to Dodger Stadium. He boycotted the games. It's sort of like Yogi Berra, who was jilted by the Yankees in the 60s.
Sure.
Didn't talk to Steinbrenner. You have falling outs in different occupations. And he came back. Somebody must have done something good. And because a lot of things get left on the table, and nobody ever wants to get people back together. Nobody ever wants to make that phone call. Well, good for the Dodgers or somebody, or Valenzuela, some representative who did this. Because in 2003, got to read detailed today, Valenzuela returned to the Dodgers organization as a Spanish language radio guy.
Yep.
And that had to be cool. His English got better as he went along. He served on Team Mexico's World Baseball Classic coaching staff in 2006, 2009, and 2013. Now he's known as Mexico's first superstar, right? But he's an American citizen. He did it the right way. Okay. He did what he was supposed to do. And I know that's a point of contention with people now, but he did it the right way.
He did it the right way.
And he got his citizenship. He's beloved by, I think, everybody in baseball. I didn't hear a bad word about him when he was playing. I didn't hear a bad word about him at any time. Was he pissed off? Who isn't pissed off at an employer they used to work for?
Oh, you've been there for a long time? Sure.
It's been there for a long time. It happens, and then you get over it and then you move on. I mean, that just happens. I mean, it's happened to everybody in the media business or everybody a lot of people in the baseball business.
And Mike, he was calling games up until the start of the playoffs this year, and he stepped away. He stepped away to focus on his health, and it's just heartbreaking.
Why couldn't they give him another 6 months and so he could see his? It was great they had the patch on last night for him, and they're going to honor him next year with the same type of situation. They're going to they're going to honor him next year too, which I think he deserves. He was a lot of fun, and
sure was.
The sombrero stuff was great, and he was proud of his country. I'll give you some before we say goodbye on this portion of the show. I want to give condolences, of course, Joe does too, to his lovely family.
Of course.
He was, once again, this is unbelievable. He was a 2-time Silver Slugger Award winner, NL wins leader in '86, MLB strikeout leader. He pitched a no-hitter in his last season with the Dodgers. That's what's amazing.
Yeah.
He was done. He was done, basically, and they knew it. And he went on and he bounced around. His number's going to be retired. Fernando Mania was catching just like the Bird. Him and the Bird in my lifetime were two pitchers that captured the imagination. They weren't as talented as the Seavers of the world, the Gibsons, the J.R. Richards, the Nolan Ryans. They were just talented, but also gregarious. They brought the fans to the ballpark. I mean, when Fernando in his first 8 starts of his rookie season, he had 5 shutouts.
It's like you said, Mike, that screwball.
Yes.
Like changed the game for him.
Changed everything for him. Because his fastball was mediocre.
Yeah.
His other pitches were okay. But man, if you threw that screwball, it's just like Phil Necro said, I needed a pitch. And I worked on the knuckleball. There's no effort on his arm. It lasted him 20 years, for God's sake, and it changed his whole life with that one pitch. Now, I'm trying to find, his legacy is unbelievable here. The impact on the Dodgers is unbelievable. His family spent off seasons between his home there in Mexico and a couple homes in Mexico. He played, and how about this? Fernando Jr. played for the Chicago White Sox for a short time. The organization. He did become Fernando U.S. citizen July 22nd, 2015. So, died of liver cancer at the age of 63. And they planned. They're doing tributes to him, of course, throughout this World Series because this is the last time that they played the Yankees and the Dodgers. How weird is that? So
That's
eerie. On behalf, yeah, that's eerie. Joe and I feel badly for the family. We feel badly for Dodger fans and all the loss of baseball. So, you know what? Condolences to the Valenzuela family. So,
of course.
Now we go to our honorable mention, and I got to put this guy up here. Phil Lesh, Grateful Dead.
Oh, yeah.
The Grateful Dead were a band, and the reason I'm going to the Grateful Dead side, because Phil Lesh was voted, and you know, Phil Lesh was 84 years old. And the Grateful Dead are still doing their thing. Folks.
Yes, they are. John Mayer tours with them now.
Yeah, I mean, they're just going to keep going and going because they're like a brand, okay?
They're a brand for sure.
They had a cult following, and when I say a cult following, I mean it. They made a song, The Touch of Grey. That was a top 40 song. Okay, there's Jerry Garcia, there's Phil. This is them in their younger years. They were basically a decent band, but they got a following that would follow them along from, you know, the West Coast to the East Coast.
It's those Deadheads, man.
The Deadheads, Bill Walton, very huge Deadhead.
He was, yeah.
If we get a Bill Walton made the Grateful Dead more famous than they already were, because he would do games with the tie-dye T-shirt. That was their signature look. That was the hippie look when they broke in. He did the baseball game with the White Sox.
Yes, he did.
With Jason Benetti with the tie-dye shirt. He went to their concerts. He's the guy that made them conscious for what we've been talking about for the new generation of fans. Okay? And just a great band. And Phil was co-founder. Afterwards, he bounced around with other bands too. They've had a couple deaths recently. Nobody lasts forever. There it is. So Phil Lesh, at the age of 84, nice write-up in Rolling Stone magazine with him. And he had bladder cancer 14 years prior.
Yeah.
So Jerry Garcia is dead now. Ware is still alive. Most of the other guys are still alive, and I'm sure they will add on. But I was not a big fan, but I was well aware of
Me
what
either,
they meant.
yeah.
You know, I mean, I could, if you told me, here's a free ticket to the Grateful Dead concert, they're in their backyard, I would have shut the drapes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
except for a Touch of Grey. They should have done more 40 songs. It actually, I think, bothered them that they had a top 40 hit, a great hit. And it took away maybe some of their art. No, it didn't. It introduced them to guys, to other people that didn't ever listen to them before. So, Phil Lesh, condolences. And last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, love, exciting and new. We got to sing it. Climb aboard. We're expecting you. Oh, love. Oh, yeah. And they'd have every week, they'd have different stars. Well, this guy here, and let me look him up. Jack Jones. Jack Jones. This guy's in the Mitzi Gaynor wing of Cumberland Chapels. Okay.
Oh, of course.
Along with Phil Lesh. Anybody under 40 will be going to the Liam Payne Chapel from now on here on the show.
Sure.
And then this guy was 86. He lived in Rancho Mirage. He was right before the English invasion. He had hits in the 60s, 61, 62, 63. His vocal, he didn't play instruments. His dad was a big-time singer, Alan Jones. His ears active up until yesterday. There he is as an older guy. And there's Gavin McLeod. Joe's doing an excellent job. Because I brought this up to Joe at the last minute today because I said, Joe, this one got by us. This is why we do this show. Because
that's right.
You know what last week was and this week is an education for people that don't know these guys. That don't know. I guarantee you 90% of the people didn't even know who Paul Lesh was because Jerry Garcia was always the guy.
He was the face of the band. You're right.
He was the face of the band, just like Jagger. I mean, we know them all now, but they had to stick around. Him and Richards, but back in the day, you didn't know who Brian Jones was. You didn't know who Ronnie Wood was, but now you know. Now you know them all. You know what I mean? So this guy then gets the break of his life. You heard him sing a song that everybody knew by heart. I just sang some of it.
That's right.
And I know all the words. And this revived a lot of older folks, if you've ever seen The Love Boat. All the old stars that had been forgotten. Even some of the old TV stars. Hal Linden from Barney Miller would be on The Love Boat. You'd have people like Cesar Romero. You know, you'd have all these old stars. Jane Powell. You know, all the old stars would be on The Love Boat. Ernest Borgnine. You know, and then you had the cast there. But Jack Jones had a hit with The Love Boat, and it was on every single week. So he became more famous for that than I believe for the previous 40 years. I mean, some of the stuff that he was on, I mean, this is how big he was, because if you weren't around, you go, well, how big was he? Well, he was big enough that he was on the Dinah Shore Show, the Ed Sullivan Show numerous times, the Andy Williams Show, the Dick Cavett Show, the Hollywood Palace, which he hosted, the Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour, Carol Burnett Show, Jerry Lewis Show, American Bandstand, Tom Jones, Dean Martin Show. So he was on every show back then. So you knew who Jack Jones was, but then he fades off. And then all of a sudden you have The Love Boat. So to the Jones family, and he was once briefly married to Joe St. John, who's now married to Robert Wagner. Yes, sir. That's what we do here. We tell you all the smut too, if we can. But there's not too much smut on these people. Tell you, well, the Grateful Dead, you can only just imagine the life they've led. The fun.
A pool of drugs.
And other things. There he is. Look at him. How you doing, baby? I don't know. It's my opinion that in the 50s and 60s, he probably got laid frequently. That's just me. Anyway, what do you think, Joe?
That's probably a good call, Mike. I think I agree. He did okay, I'm sure.
We always leave him laughing, even on this show. We want to thank Cumberland Chapels. We want to thank Pennyville Station. We want to thank, of course, the people that contribute to this program. My lovely wife, Bibi, Joe, Aldo Gandia. But we also want to thank you. And Pennyville Station, Cumberland Chapels, this was a nice one. 2 honorable mentions today, plus the great Fernando Valenzuela, Paul Lesh, and, of course, Jack Jones. We appreciate everybody listening. Hope you enjoyed the broadcast on behalf of me and Joe. See you next time. They're going like flies.